Hi, I'm Lauri Kane, and today is my birthday. I turned 66 years old today. And you know what? I love getting older because life keeps getting better. And the older I get, the bolder I realize I'm becoming. For 47 years that Dean and I have been together, since 18, we have been hiking our whole adult lives. And it's an experience that is so important to both of us. And I want to share some of our hiking experiences with you and give you a couple of messages of why it's so important for Dean and I to be hiking. So just an example, I want you to become part of our experience. Last week we went to a beautiful place in New York called Mohonk Mountain, Minnewaska Preserve, and it's a state park there. And we did two amazing hikes. One was Gertrude's Nose. That was a hike up to cliffs. This area is well known for rock climbing because all you see are just cliffs everywhere. It's magnificent. And so the hike itself wasn't really that scary. We hiked really through mostly woods to get to the top. And when we got to the top, we were trying to find Gertrude's Nose, which I think we finally found her nose. And it was just an exhilarating hike to these major cliffs and just look totally around you and see just breathtaking views. And as you can see, we think we found Gertrude's Nose. And then it's just exhilarating to know that amazingly, we were the only ones on this mountain that day, and the mountain was ours. The next day we hiked was called the Labyrinth. Now this was a really challenging hike because it's a rock scramble. A rock scramble are pretty much fields of boulders that have fallen from cliffs and create all these different formations. And what happens is the way they create these hikes, they put blazes on, or what you would know as little arrows, to show you the way through these rocks. It's called a rock scramble. And basically what you're doing is you're hiking over boulders, under boulders, around boulders, squeezing through tiny little spaces, going up ladders. It's really an adult playground. So it was fascinating and so much fun. Well, what was interesting about the Labyrinth was they had what's called the lemon squeeze. Well, Dean and I had no clue what that meant. We just did the hike and waiting to see what this lemon squeeze was. Along the way, a mother and her 22-year-old daughter, both extremely fit couple, mother and daughter, were pretty much jumping over rocks. Now when we hike on all fours, as you can see. We kind of do a crab walk. We use every part of our bodies to get through these hikes, which is what's so wonderful about these hikes. And so anyway, this mother and daughter, younger than us, are like skipping along these rocks and pass us by. And then all of a sudden, we finally get close to the lemon squeeze, and we see them coming back towards us. And we're like, what are you doing? Why are you coming back? And the 22-year-old goes, I'm not hiking. I'm not going up there. And then I'm about ready to turn around, and Dean goes, no, you're not going to turn around until you at least see what we have ahead of us. And that's one thing about Dean. Dean doesn't turn back from anything. We actually, once we start something, we always finish it. So he said, let's just go see it. If you're afraid, we'll turn around. And they explained the hike. It sounded a little scary to me, but we moved on. We got to the crevice where this lemon squeeze was. Again, not quite understanding what this meant, the lemon squeeze. But we get to a crevice. So what this crevice was a split in the cliff in which the cliff separated. And as you walked through this gorgeous crevice, you started out about 3 people wide, the width of the crevice, and then it narrowed in to the point where it had split. And then they had ladders, and they had ladders to take you up the crevice. Well, the first ladder was fine. Now remember, now we're at a point where, I don't know, we're maybe a foot apart. The ladders are that wide. And so you're walking up the ladders, and the first 2 ladders were fine. You get to the 3rd ladder, and I look up and see what they mean by the lemon squeeze. The space opened up was no more than, I don't know, to me, I was thinking my body this way, 12 feet, was not, it looked 12 feet or 18 feet. There's no way you could get up the ladder and straight up.
12 inches.
12 inches. Oh, sorry, not 12 feet, 12 inches. So we get to the top, and now we're at a point where, okay, now the only way to get out of this crevice and up out of the hole was to actually have to turn your body sideways, let go of the ladder, find your hands, and then wedge your body on the side, using your body, letting go of the ladder with your feet, and using your feet now hooked into the little crevices along the wall of the cliff. And now your hands, you're totally free from the ladder, and now you have to get your body out of this little tight space. The whole time, I didn't even think about not doing it. I just didn't even think, wasn't even fearful. I just decided I'm going to get this done. And I climbed up to the top and made it to the top. I felt so proud of myself to the fact that I was thinking back and thinking, okay, this 22-year-old didn't do it, and me at 66, I just did it. And Dean got up there through it too, so we both accomplished it. And here's the thing, I have learned about myself that hiking is such a challenge, and Dean has been my backbone behind helping me get through these challenges. Sometimes I'm afraid of heights, but I'm afraid of heights because I'm afraid of falling off of narrow edges. And so years ago we did a Via Ferrata in Italy, in the Dolomites, where you had to hike, where we were cabled in, and we had to go up these cables, and we were completely had harnesses on, we were attached to the cable, and we went 1,700 feet straight up. And I did it. And what I learned about myself was I'm not afraid of heights. If I'm cabled in and I'm secure with myself, I could get up these challenges. And so that's what hiking has been for me. It is learning to overcome fear and challenges and to face the challenge and not be afraid of the challenge. And thank God Dean is always the one saying, you can do it. You know, he shares his confidence in me, in my abilities to do it. He's always by my side, helping me get through these fearful places, but he helps me do it and I get it done. The other thing about hiking is that when you're hiking, you're totally in the moment. You're not thinking about anything else. You're thinking about what hands need to go where, what footing has to go where, how do you get under a rock without cracking your head open, how do you wedge through, how do you maneuver? Your brain is in the moment. You are present. And no outside world or thoughts come in right at that time. And in today's world, that is hard to do, to stay in the moment. And when we go hiking, it helps us release all those outer thoughts and let us stay in the moment. And one more important aspect about hiking is that when you're up on a mountain, and like on Gertrude's Nose, Dean and I were the only ones up there. We had the whole mountain to ourselves. The whole negative world of politics and crime and hate and racism just isn't there. It doesn't exist when you're in this beautiful environment of our world. And you just realize that there's a beautiful part of our world that exists. And you just have to get out and see it and enjoy it. And this brings us back to being able to love our lives and love our world. And so there's a positive side to our world. So my message is, you have to meet the challenges. Challenges make your life alive. And without these challenges, life is just dull. And the older we get, the challenge is that, okay, we may be getting older, but we're not going to let being old get in our way. And we're going to keep hiking until we die, because that's the goal between Dean and I. We love it, and it's a challenge, and I challenge all of you to go out and see our beautiful world out there. All right, it's been a great birthday time for me. Wishing you all the best.